Morning. Today's video, core aeration, which is really good for your lawn. This is the time of year to do it. Surfactant, penetrator. We'll talk about that a little bit. And I'm seeding Centipede out here. Let me explain real quick what I'm doing. I have lawns on the front. Pond front is a lawn. The backyard is a lawn. I have Bermuda there. These are natural green spaces. We have several of these and they're huge. And I have learned that when I get here, common Bermuda or Centipede is what's going to grow on this hard, nasty clay soil. And when I say hard, nasty clay soil, I mean this is what I'm dealing with. This is what I've got. This whole area right here used to be that. So we had all the trees removed, stumps dug up, skid steer, rake it, trying to turn it into sort of a natural green space. I have some common Bermuda already established in here, but because I don't have irrigation, it's a struggle. So I'm pumping, using my pond pump to water over here. I'm about to start it up and run it. But core aeration, this is the time of year to do it. So if you can do it, go ahead and get it done. It's great for your lawn. Surfactants, this is proven science. You can go to Google, you can go to one of your AI apps and say, look, show me the scientific evidence on this. And then university and USGA have both shown that you do improve your infiltration rates up to 50% easily. But once you apply this wetting agent to an area like this, you have to water it in, number one. And number two, don't over apply it. You don't want to over apply it too much or too often. Just give it a good shot with the surfactant and it will help break up that surface tension, help water the infiltration rate. You can almost double, it depends, you can double that infiltration rate of that water. It breaks that surface tension, it'll actually go down, it actually creates some porosity. It's about 7:15. I think I've done more work so far than most people get done all day. Lord, up at 4:30, this humidity is a killer. It's only getting to the 80s, but let me tell you what, it's got to be 75 to 90% humidity out here. It feels like soup in the afternoon. It's horrible. All right, so if you don't know, I have a high pressure pump system that runs underground 600 feet up to my fields, but I also have a relief switching station for priming, and so I can tie into that. And I've got a 1250K, one of these monster irrigation sprinklers over here, and then I got a small 1100 over here, and I'm gonna let that run. And then because when you do a core aeration, especially on something like this, which is really kind of hard packed clay, I mean you can see cracks in the soil, you want to do it right after a rain, as long as it's not muddy. So no mud, because it'll mess you up, but you definitely want your soil moist. The cores will come out nice. The penetration is so much better. Also, if you have a tall grass, those tines have to dig all the way through that tall grass. So my recommendation is cut down your grass as short as you're comfortable with before you do any kind of core aeration. So anyways, the instructions for this are very clear. It's 1 ounce per 1,000 square feet. Apply it and immediately water it in. That's what we're doing. So I'm going to run this till John is ready to do the aeration, and then without getting wet, and then I'm going to let him run the core aerator now that we got that thing fixed. And if this goes well, I actually might do the same application on the pond front and the backyard. And I am thinking about doing it up in the vegetable garden, mainly on the rows, not necessarily where the vegetables are growing, but up in those rows, because we get so much water up there. I'm having that fixed, by the way. I got a guy quoting me putting in a drainage ditch to stop that water to stop the water from the upper fields coming down this way, which is what it does. And if you saw the other day, we got 4 inches of rain in 45 minutes, and it was just a river, absolute river. Very, very potent, very fast acting. I'm going to put 5 ounces into a hose end bottle and apply that, and then I fill it up with water. Let me show you. So I put 5 ounces into this bottle, then I fill the rest up with water, and now I need to apply that 5 ounces to roughly 5,000 square feet. So this is a 20 to 1. I kind of know my walk rate on this. Could you put this in a regular pump sprayer or back? Sure, as long as you get, it's the simple formula. It's you got to get 1 ounce per 1,000 square feet. Thank God I got a network of hoses here. So you know when it's coming out on this product because you see little bubbles floating around. It's basically like a soap. So I'm gonna make up some more. He gets the fun job. I'm pushing that thing. It's all downhill. The hard part is after you're done with all the core aeration, you gotta push that thing uphill to put it away. So I'm gonna go ahead and shut these off and we gotta start moving some hoses. And then we can do a core aeration over here. When you're coming, so our biggest slope is this way. You don't want to do that. You actually want to go where it's less of a slope. I gotta fix that choke. Definitely red flag. That's a good core right there. This thing will pull 2.5, 3-inch cores. Unfortunately, a lot of my stuff is already germinating, but I don't care. We've got to get some holes in this. Dude, that's a lot of aeration. How do your arms feel?
You want to sweat? Come out here and grab this.
He said, if you want to sweat, come on out here and do this. Good Lord, man. What time is it? It's 8:30 and we're out here sweating. I say we are out here sweating. Everyone's starting to sweat. But actually I'm actually kind of surprised that actually the cores are actually pretty good. And see, this is what I wanted. I wanted to make sure the cores were kind of wet, and they are. They're not dry. What the hell is that? A mushroom? That's a rock. Man, it did a great job out here. Pretty happy, dude, because I've been trying to put water down, and when I look at these cores, they're actually pretty wet all the way down. I already ran this morning, but now we got the wetting agent and the cores down. All right, so go ahead down here. So you're going to be sending water to that blue hose, so what do you have to do? Open up that valve. There you go. Next thing is go to the pump. Yeah, that one we're not sending up. Switch on. A little bit, just turn the choke on, the gray switch. It's on this side, right under the air filter. It's the plastic gray one. Little pull. Choke off. Got to be careful, it's slippery here.
Yeah, it's slippery right now.
Yeah, we may have to put some gravel or something.
When I came right now, like, whoa.
Yeah, I may have to put some gravel.
What was sand?
Or sand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the sand.
Yeah, the sand will work. Whoa, shit, okay. Just want to make sure I'm hitting everything here. Pretty
crazy, isn't it?
Man, it's so nice to have that. There's no way I could get this grass to grow in the summertime without this system. And this is I have a real heavy double zone here, because this is that, this is that area that's just so rocky and wet and dry. All right, she's all done. Let that run. Hey Siri, start a 45-minute timer. Now the most important watering when you're planting seed is the sunset watering. And let me explain. If I come out here and water at noon or 1 o'clock, that sun will hit that if it's not going to the soil and dry it out in an hour. When you water at sunset, what's happening? The temperature is dropping and you get dew. You actually get dew on the grass. So if you come out here right at sunset and water at sunset, that seed is going to stay wet 14 hours. I mean, because you come out in the morning, you can't cut your grass because there's still dew on it. It's the same principle. So not only are you putting water down, but then you get the dew, and that grass seed in the dark, it likes to germinate in the dark, and it wants to be wet. Dry seed does not germinate. So I'm thrilled, dude. I'm so glad we got that aerator going. So glad. John's soaking wet. I really am happy with the way that's turning out right there. If I can get centipede growing in there. It's getting hot out here again. Let me run through a bunch of questions that I know I'm going to get. First of all, why am I planting centipede? Okay, I have a lawn back here. It's a lawn. That's Bermuda. I have a lawn out front of the pond. That's Bermuda. These natural areas, green space areas, and the pond berm both are just hard red clay, no irrigation. And I have learned that two things, centipede and common Bermuda. If you have a nasty kind of rough area, those two grasses will do well. Plus, I do companion planting. What does that mean? So I'm going to put down centipede. I'm also going to put down some clover. But what you can do is if you want a lawn look, you can put down annual ryegrass. You can put down a contractor mix, which is fescues and rye. And why? Because centipede and Bermuda, common Bermuda, are very slow to establish. Centipede, the first year, isn't going to look like anything. The second year is when you're really going to see it. It takes a while to establish. So having that companion grass or companion growth, those roots will open up the ground and improve water infiltration greatly. By the way, this surfactant is proven multiple times that it actually does really well. But here's what I want to show you. This area over here was solid red clay, nasty. 2.5 years ago, I put down some centipede seed. And look at that. Is that crazy or what? So this is what centipede can do for you. An area like this, no irrigation, no fertilizer, just let it grow. When I came back from the beach house, this was completely brown, worst drought in 100 years. We got 5 days of rain, next week completely green. It comes right back. So it goes dormant in a drought and comes right back when it rains. This area over here, I find that I got some extra centipede seed, and I actually came out here and I seeded that. So maybe next year, I do have a lot of common Bermuda out there established, but I really would like to have that centipede. It's just so tough. This area, it looks really good when you're getting a lot of rain, but when you get dry, it just dries out. So again, I've got germination out here, which is shocking. After 4 days, my centipede, the clover germinates in 48 hours. But the centipede is already germinating. So let's talk about questions about aeration. Should I pick up my cores? If you are reel mowing, the answer is yes, unfortunately. Those cores have little rocks in them and they will mess up your reel mower blades. And really your grass is going to be very short anyways. So yes, I always we always picked up our cores when we had a real mower lawn. Every other lawn, go ahead and leave them down. Now, people are going to say, you're going to hear this all the time, they're going to say that this core, which came from here, because it's lying here, is somehow going to add nutrients to your soil. It's not. It's not. It's the same dirt that's lying next to it. You're not going to add any nutrients back to the soil. All it's going to do is actually, it's going to break apart. And when it breaks apart, it's actually going to fill up that hole. So, but don't worry about it. Just leave it on there. Chop them up with a lawnmower. It'll be fine. You can do this every single year. It's great. It relieves compaction. When you pull the cores, it helps relieve compaction. It allows water. Matter of fact, when I water, I can see water sitting in these holes, and then it slowly drains down. So that's basically it. You want to do this during an active growing. Do not do this in the fall when your lawn's about to shut down. Now, what about treatments? If your lawn is still weak, DGL, dark green lawn, PGF complete. Put down some great fertilizer, some nitrogen, really push that lawn. If your lawn is nice and thick and looks healthy, switch over to soil health. I keep saying this. Dirt Booster Plus, put it down. You can put it down every week. There's no synthetic nutrients that can burn your lawn. It's all natural. So has biochar, humic acid, mycorrhizal fungi, and corn distillates. Put down some Dirt Booster Plus. That's what we're doing up in our gardens now, making our compost. But now's the time you can focus on your soil health if your lawn is great. Now, I do want to show you one thing. You know, last month I went down to the beach house and the whole lawn was basically brown. I mean, it looked horrible. And I hit it with PGF Complete. Then I hit it with fast release nitrogen. And I even put down some Dirt Booster Plus. I even sprayed, I mean, I just pounded it for like a week and a half. And then I left. And I've been running the irrigation. I do have a robot down there. But let me pull up a picture. I pulled up one of my security cameras. The video's not that great. But look at the lawn now. It looks, I mean, it's fantastic. Absolutely gorgeous. The lawn is filling in. I had a bunch of bare spots. Everything's filling in. So I'm real happy with that. So yeah, this is the time of year. It is hot and humid. If you need some seed to germinate, now's the time to do it. We've got thunderstorms rolling through. Hopefully this drought has been completely broken. But that's it. I'm going to go finish up my day. I hope it helped. Talk to you later. Doc.